Hello, hello, hello. It's Kev here. Another OET letter for the OET Right Now, my Telegram group. Even though my YouTube channel is called The English Native, I still do things for my other groups, which are called OET Right Now, IELTS 9 Pro, so don't be confused by that one. First things first, disclaimer. Fair use for teaching, right? So I'm going to be using a few things here, maybe copyright, but I say only be used for educational non-profit purposes, so don't bother writing to complain, because there you go. Now, let's get to it. So, see if I can get this here. So, somebody posted this letter in the group, and there's a couple of comments. People were saying there was some irrelevant content, and it was too long, and etc. So, I've got a few examples to illustrate some of these points. So I'm going to go through this. There's some grammar and some vocab stuff, syntax, which I'll correct. And there's a few other things I'm going to refer to. Now, I did post a video. You can probably see it here. So I posted a link. So I made a video. I don't know how many videos. There's 174, and I can't be bothered to look at them all. And this was made in 2018, so this is 4 years old now. But still, I was having a quick look at my channel, which I have to do some work on and try and sort things out, but I haven't had time. Many students on italki, etc. But anyway, this is one you can watch. I put the link in my channel, Telegram, in the group, so you can have a look at it. And I go through a few different things there and actually give you some idea. So that's something for you to. Oh dear. Well, it's a Sunday morning, so don't expect too much. So that's something you can have a look at later. Okay, so now let's get to the point. Get rid of that. Letter first. So we've got the DOB. Now, in terms of words, I did post in the channel, they don't count all this stuff. The greeting and the closing, really. They only count this. More or less, because please contact me any further information. That's like a standard closing, standard opening and greeting. So the actual word count here is like 242, which is still a little bit long, but still, OET have actually said that they don't count. They've actually said this. You can find it on occupationalenglishTest.org on their blog. They've actually said that they don't count the words. That 180 to 200 is a guide, because they say anything less than 180, it's not enough to accurately assess your English. Anything more than 200, and as per the criteria, you may have some irrelevant information. I'll get my pen out. Where are we? Yeah. So they say that, you may have some irrelevant information, or it may not be summarized as effectively and presented as clearly as it might be. So this is more, not only have you put stuff that you don't really need, because we have to consider audience and purpose. So, who you're writing to, psychiatrist, doctor, occupational therapist, in this example, a psychiatrist. So you have to tailor what you include to the audience. So as a psychiatrist, there's a lot of medical information that I would not necessarily want, only to the extent that they filled in the backdrop to the story that you are telling me, right? So you're writing to me, you want me to do something, okay, but then you've got to construct a narrative. You've got to build up a story that tells me why you want me to do this, right? So some of the medical stuff is only useful in that it's indicative, possibly of underlying, or it may be some underlying reason or cause for the psychiatric activities. Yeah, we'll see in a second anyway, just to give you some concrete examples. But that's all that you are doing, So usually the best thing is to imagine you were the reader, the recipient, the intended reader of a letter, and think, right, if I were the psychiatrist, what, out of the case notes, what would I need? What would I want to do my job? And that's basically what you've got to do. So you've got your purpose. Is it a referral, a discharge? What do you want the reader to do? You've got the content, all the key information, conciseness, no irrelevant information. As it says, length of document is appropriate to case and reader. So they've said that they don't count this. They don't actually count the words, but these key phrases here, no time is wasted, concise and clear. So that could maybe that you have put some unnecessary information in, and it says, is there any information that could be omitted? If so, you should do so. But also how well you have constructed your sentences to present a summary. So I know a few of you, your writing style's good, and in most cases it will be fine, but here it might be a little bit too long, too many pronouns, conjunctions, or where you use your phrasing, maybe extensive use of active voice instead of passive voice, and that makes it a little bit long in terms of a word count, you know. Well, the actual count itself, it's not that important. They don't count the actual words. They read it and they think, well, I don't need this, I don't need that, I don't need this. And look at how you've structured your sentences lexically as to whether that's too many words or not. Anyway, that's that being said, let's have a peep. Do I want to save the changes? No. Right. So, Miss Hoffman, the single sales assistant. Now, do I need that right in the introduction? Maybe, maybe not. Only if it's going to tell me something later on. And we'll look at some examples in a second. Signs and symptoms. Now, don't forget your verbs. Auxiliary verbs be, are, suggestive of reactive, depression, and further assessment and measurement. So, that's good. Now, we've got this here. Admitted to hospital following a faint. A faint or fainting spell, you could say. Fainting fit. Accompanied with unconsciousness. Well, if you faint, aren't you usually unconscious? So how can you have a fainting spell accompanied with unconsciousness? If you faint, you usually are unconscious. So, unconscious fainting spell, 5 to 10 minutes after drinking alcohol on the previous day. So now, article use. So again, right, you're writing to me. I'm Dr. Kev, the psychiatrist. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, well that's interesting, but what's that got to do with me? Because I'm a psychiatrist. So it's unfortunate that Miss Hoffman had a fainting spell, but again, what's that got to do with me directly? Can you see what I'm trying to say here? Okay. No history of seizures and incontinence were reported. Well, that's good, but again, I'm the psychiatrist. And it's unremarkable. Okay, thanks for telling me what there isn't. I want to know what there is. Feeling woozy and stressful due to being busy at work. Now, that's interesting, but it could have been linked. So, single sales assistant, she's busy as a sales assistant. So, therefore, a medical certificate was issued, because that's what you do with a certificate, for 1 day of rest. Again, in addition, she was advised on watching. She was advised on watching new symptoms. What watching for? Well, how can she watch for new symptoms? How can she do that? What does that mean? So that's not very clear what she was advised about. But still, the main kind of point is psychiatrist, and you're telling me this story here about she was in hospital after drinking. So, okay, I'm kind of... So, in terms of social medical history, now, as I mentioned to the person who wrote this when I spoke to him yesterday, there's no medical history here. You say in terms of social medical history, but there's none. It's only social. In terms of social history, Hoffman lives alone, family lives in another state, long-term boyfriend, but recently broken up, since suffering from this condition. What condition? What condition? Are you talking about reactive depression? So they have broken up since. So did they break up? So, right, this is the clarity part, right? So I'm not sure what's... So they have broken up. Okay. Since suffering from this condition. Well, so who is suffering? Because you've got a dangling participle. Are you talking about her? Obviously her, but how you've written it. What condition? So are you trying to say that they broke up because she was depressed or she fainted or whatever? Because I'm not really sure what's going on here. Or are you saying that her breakup and all this other stuff? So this may be indicative of her underlying causes for her psychiatric condition. That she's under pressure, stress, she broke up, she's single, no support network. So this might be one reason why psychiatrists thinking that she has this psychiatric condition, but it's not clear. I'm not really sure, as the reader, what is going on here. Okay, on the second level, Miss Hoffman was then with shortness of breath, sputum and wheezing, on which about, shortness of breath and wheezing, for which she was concerned. That she might have Epstein-Barr virus, blood tests. Again, right, so psychiatrist, that should be mental health, yeah? So again, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm reading this letter and I'm still waiting for you to tell me something about these signs and symptoms that you say are suggestive of reactive depression. I'm still waiting. I haven't seen any yet. Okay, so this might indicate she might not be very happy, but is that necessarily... I mean, people split with their boyfriends all the time, but do they turn in, do they become depressed? Maybe. But then you've got this about shortness of breath. Now, these concerns here, that she might have some virus, that may be something, like she's projecting her emotional state onto, so she's, oh, I'm so sick, I have a virus. So that might be indicative, but again, you need to connect these like points up. So the readers doesn't have to do this. You should have all these points connected. So, 20 days of maternal worst anecdotal symptoms, including depression. Right, so now we're getting to what I, the psychiatrist, want to know about. Depression, something like libido, which related to job stress. Additionally, she reported a lack of memory. Well, short-term or having short-term of memory. Is it long-term? Is it short-term? Lacking? A lack of? How can you have a lack of memory? Does that mean that she can't remember things in the short term that she's just done, but she can remember things in the past? So that doesn't really tell me much. Lack of concentration and memory. Besides, along with alcohol tolerance, or with a reduced alcohol tolerance, so reduced tolerance to alcohol. Medicine was prescribed organization followed by recommendation to see a psychiatrist. However, she was non-compliant with them. How do you spell that? Compliant. That's it. How can you be non-compliant with a recommendation? You can be non-compliant with your prescriptions and you don't take it. But how can you be non-compliant with a recommendation? So she wasn't keen on it. She didn't want to do it. Was agreed, not passive. Be referred, and I would appreciate if you could manage their conditions if feel appropriate. Please contact me for any further information, or if you need any further information. Okay, so as I said, there's a few things here that for the psychiatrist we're not really sure what is going on. Now, I was searching for some examples. Okay, so in terms of all these different things about the sort of job and kind of visit. So this is from the video. Okay, so we've got the purpose. I'm writing to refer, whose features are. Now, okay, now then you've got this kind of a background filler. Works as a sales assistant in a demanding environment, and she lives distant. I mean, I wouldn't use those like words, but that's because I would write it obviously in a better way. But you can see what they've actually done here. So they've got the purpose. I want you to see this patient. Okay. Then you've got this little thing like, for your information, or please kind of note, demanding job, split with a boyfriend. But it says here with her boyfriend, but she's actually split. So this letter didn't really work. And yeah, now another way, which I mentioned to my student when I was speaking to her yesterday on italki, instead of saying visit, and a lot of those, well, some of those visits in this particular case and in others, you don't need to mention. You could simply say, Miss Hoffman attended my clinic on several occasions over the last year, various medical issues. So you could do it like that, a single sentence. Now, you could put something like, so this might show that maybe she's a bit of a hypochondriac and she's been on, several different times. Or you could just say that she has been for several issues, unless there's one issue. But I would have put something there about depression, anxiety, or something, the fainting one, because that could be indicative. So this is one way that you can present it. Instead of visit, paragraph, visit, visit, you could do it like this, but a better way would be if you put something in that maybe showed me, the psychiatrist, what the underlying issues were. She's visited my clinic on several occasions for various unrelated issues, the last one of which was for depression, anxiety, or something such as that. Because what a lot of you do, you simply drop in information and you don't make anything out of it. It's like, boom, here's some facts, but you're not connecting them up to anything else. So you're expecting me, and don't forget, in reality, I wouldn't have the case notes. So the reader's not going to have the case notes and this. Oh, that's what she means. They're not. So you have to keep that in mind in the exam. All the information must be here, not in the notes as well. Because if you think about it, that's what the specialist, because this is a referral, the only information that they would have will be coming from the letter. So if you simply drop in bits of information and you don't do anything with it, if you don't connect it up, you don't join the dots, build the narrative, construct a narrative, build a story, it doesn't really work, So in a recent visit, she had features of blah, 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 blah. discussed job like stress. So again, I wouldn't, this is a student example. I didn't write this as a sample. One, I don't have time. But still, you can see the general idea. So you've got the purpose. Thanks for seeing. She's been a few times, various issues. In the recent visit, clinical features of herpes, right, cares. But stress, appetite, blah, 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 lack of concentration, blah, 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 blah. Yeah? So that's one way that you could do that one. And this is another one, example from the same video. Miss Hoffman has presented at my clinic over the last year with various complaints, examination, moreover, so in this paragraph here, he's saying, right, she has been several times, so you don't have to put visit paragraph, visit. And here, though, why this is a little better than the previous one, it's mentioning the stress, it's bringing it up. So she's been, for several occasions, and this is where the stress started. So the psychiatrist can see, right, I can see now, yeah? So difficulties, concentration, neither in my prude. Okay, you see? So this is another one from, I think it's benchmark. Disclaimer, fair use. So you can see here we've got the purpose, writing to refer, recently blah, blah, blah. Then you've got the background, the single, knows a family. That tells me that she's socially, maybe she's socially isolated, which as a psychiatrist, that's what I'm thinking about, Assistant, stress, a commitment. Okay, so you put that there. Then the next paragraph, increase in stress, more stress, tolerance of alcohol. I say, right, so it's building the story up, yeah? Then, please note, recently split with a boyfriend, wants to quit a job. So again, the psychiatrist, all this is indicating stuff. It's giving me some indications of what the underlying what issues might be. And I think that's the last one. I took this from a different one. But you can see we've got the same kind of thing. We've got the purpose, writing to refer, and then Miss Hoffman has attended our clinic multiple times. Then you've got the visit with the complaints of sleeping and blah, 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 blah. Referrals and that's like that. And so this one's not as good, but still though, you have, the visits are condensed. So instead of, visit, you've got visited on several times, blah, 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 blah. Or like in the previous one, we've got this background. She's got no family, a lot of stress, blah, blah, blah. And then presented, and the stress is mentioned in that paragraph. So that's even better in terms of conciseness and clarity. Okay? So, not too bad. Back to the letter. But as you can see, there's some information here that we don't. So there's some grammar and there's some vocab stuff. But also, let me see if I can get it into a single page so you can pause this. And yeah, that should be about it, yeah. So, as you can see, there's some grammar, some vocab bits and pieces here. But also in terms of conciseness and clarity, and also the organization and structure. There's a few different things there. So if you want to rewind this, go take a look at the samples that I've just pulled out, or watch the video in full. The link, I'll put the link in the box so you can go and take a look at it. That's what you could do, how you could write this kind of a letter. Okay, hope that helps. So if you're watching on Telegram, the link for the video I've already posted. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll put the link below, and the link for the Telegram group, and also for my profile on italki, should you need it. So, hope that helps. Right, Sunday morning, that's me done. Got more important things to be doing than sitting here all day. But anyway, if you want me to comment on a letter And actually, only 2 people in the group have posted, which is not very good out of nearly 100 people. So if you do want me to make some comments, you've got to post a letter. It's just that simple. Okay? So, hope that helps. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.